You're still watching Acfim Talks. Welcome back from the break. We're discussing cryptocurrency and political financing in Uganda. And I have two distinguished guests. I have Geoffrey Ekongot, who is a digital expert, and also Henry, who is the political finance expert, helping us make sense and draw the relationship between cryptocurrency and political financing in Uganda. And before Henry went for a break, he had presented something that I think it's worth following through. This whole concept of cryptocurrency, I know it has pros and cons, but let me start with Geoffrey. First of all, I'm still struggling to understand who owns the crypto industry. Is it that industry that is not owned by anybody? Because are the originators of cryptocurrency, the owners of cryptocurrency, but also what are the opportunities cryptocurrency presents, especially when it comes to financing politics, beyond the fears. And I'll also come back to you, Henry, to see whether you see the same opportunities, but also what are the fears? What does it mean to the whole aspect of transparency in political financing when you have such a currency? You ably said is that deals with concealment. But let me start with you, Geoffrey.
Thank you, Felix. I think the issue of ownership in the cryptocurrency space is not a very high priority because of the nature of cryptocurrencies. The real issue here is, like from the context of government, is the ability to have a trail on the flow of money and to have some sort of control, but primarily to understand who is doing what. And that's where most of the effort is going for now. And to sort of take a position on that, or to attempt to intercept that whole process that cryptocurrency is creating, many governments have already gone the path of creating digital currencies. So this is a different layer from cryptocurrencies. I don't know whether this makes sense. Let me try and explain. Now, cryptocurrencies are digital currencies, but they are not the only digital currencies. So there's been an attempt to now create a digital equivalent of our fiat currencies. For example, China is already way ahead in that space. They are in the final stages of their pilot to see how this works. They have already created a digital yuan, and Kenya is already also ahead in that space. Nigeria has also created a digital naira. So the idea behind this is that they want to offer cheaper ways and more a system that creates a money trail, because these digital cash solves some of the problems that cryptocurrencies are solving, but also gives governments back some form of control. So the thinking is that digital currencies are going to be the middle ground to cryptocurrencies, the middle ground between our paper fiat currency and cryptocurrencies. So governments have already taken several steps in that direction, and I think BOU is already also thinking about it. They just they have too many things to understand, and they have been very slow. I think courtesy of the former governor. The former governor had a very sort of traditional perspective to these things, and he wasn't ready for what's the future. However, digital currency is a huge opportunity. For example, what would it mean for Uganda? Uganda is one of those countries that should have been really ahead and taken the advantage, because we have many players who have been leaders in that space. For example, one of the foremost authorities in the cryptocurrency space is a guy called Noah Basa. There's a long name, Basala. He's one of the founders of a platform called Savannah and Binusu. Binusu is a cryptocurrency platform, right? Born in Uganda and serves Ugandans. although right now, because of the BOU current directive against using crypto exchanges, they are now focused on peer-to-peer transactions. So that brings us back to what Henry was talking about in regards to controlling the funds towards political actors. Political actors are going to be very active in that space by taking advantage of the option of peer-to-peer transactions. Because previously, uh, beyond peer-to-peer, even companies could set up cryptocurrency accounts and directly link them to their organization bank accounts, and then they could transact. By government coming up with a hard stance on the space, they have now forced some kind of underground layer to this whole thing. The underground layer is growing strong, and in countries like Nigeria and Kenya, I think they are the most powerful in Africa. They have a very active peer-to-peer crypto community, cryptocurrency community, where individuals are sending uh, each other money. And in the case of Uganda, you can't stop, for example, if you can't fund NUP as a party, I'm sure someone out there can send Bobby Wine any amount of cryptocurrency. And he can do the same to any member of the party. And there are many individuals who are willing to offload this same um, uh, cryptocurrency in exchange for cash, regular UGX, and they know what to do with it once they have it as in their wallet, because the usage of cryptocurrencies for transactions is growing globally. A lot of big companies are now accepting cryptocurrency. You can buy cars, you can buy houses, you can pretty much do a lot of things, most especially in the e-commerce world. Um, a lot of e-commerce platforms have started accepting cryptocurrencies. So um, uh, I think it makes more sense for the regulators to sort of, instead of banning, they need to watch closely and then understand better and have an opportunity. And the other opportunity is this one that I just mentioned, where the Uganda should just go for a digital UGX. A digital UGX would simplify a lot of things, but would also create a lot of room for following the money trail. The opportunity it creates is that it doesn't just seem one-sided like things are happening now. Like it appears government is putting all the money, all the effort of following the money on the opposition, but it's not doing the same for the people on the government side. They're also receiving funding. So, but with a digital currency, there will be a paper trail on everybody. So even on themselves or on the government actors, it would also solve a lot of problems on corruption because the paper trail will be there for everyone to see, and then it's up to them to do with it what they want. But right now, with our paper cash is very the fiat cash is very fiat money is very hard to track, and a lot is happening. So that's really what is happening. That the two paths that are unlocking is the digital the digital currency layer for countries, and of course the crypto space also happening independent of the digital money. In fact, for Uganda, it would remove the costs that are associated with mobile money. We spend so much money paying for transfers, withdrawals, but if the BOU took over and created their own digital cash, then transactions would be free or almost free. It would be much cheaper, and they would be able to still follow the money.
Thank you so much, Geoffrey. Henry, Geoffrey presents an opportunity because as I was discussing, I was like, okay, so cryptocurrency is not as initially assumed. It provides an element of transparency. There is a trail of transaction. Is that an opportunity when it comes to transparency in political financing? Do you see any opportunities towards improving transparency in political financing, or you see threats and risks? What's your take?
Let me state that The fundamentals upon which cryptocurrency was invented was to avoid paper trail or any form of tracking of sorts. Of course, like you said at the beginning, there are over 1,000 types of cryptocurrencies. But the major ones, Bitcoin, for example, is completely anonymous. They don't have paper trail. But there are also cryptocurrencies that are able to keep a paper trail, because in that ledger, once that ledger is there, it is there, it can track. But you asked about the advantages and the pros and cons. The first thing I want to put out is cryptocurrency is not the type of currency you shall carry and go to Loom Street or William Street and purchase things. It doesn't act that way. So that is I don't know whether that is a negative or minus. So the other advantage I've seen is what Jeff just highlighted, that it will enable opposition political parties in the context of political finance to access money wherever they want, from wherever they need across the country, without being necessarily tracked. Because you can receive this money and it will be incognito, cannot be tracked. You don't have to report anywhere, because there is no letter in the law that allows you to register or disclose crypto transactions. And then you can pass it on to service providers or to your candidates who might eventually cash it. And by the time they cash it, there are too many layers that even if government wanted to track, they would lose track, and they just let it be. So it's one way of circumventing the very strict political party financing rules and guidelines. But the other disadvantage we have is crypto offers an opportunity to launder money, which is a big disadvantage, because you see, you can get your dirty money, then you invest, you convert into cryptocurrency, you bring it here, you purchase a building already done, an already finished building, or an apartment building, or luxurious, whatever. You can even buy a car, for as long as the agent, the one who is selling, accepts crypto. So the one who is selling will also be happy and willing to accept crypto, because you see, then the taxman will not see the transaction. Then you don't have to pay tax. You have evaded it. It should be clear that the biggest disadvantage of crypto is its ability to circumvent the banking system. Okay, of course, then it would create problems for anti-money laundering efforts. Our brothers at the Financial Intelligence Authority will have a rough day. The other disadvantage is terrorism financing. You see, terrorists can easily move money across borders through crypto to finance activities that may destabilize the country, and that's not a good thing. The other thing is that it would allow, during election campaigns, a number of unscrupulous businessmen who are targeting government as the source of big ticket deals to bankroll candidates or a party that they think has the potential to go through, win the election. And they would bankroll this for the very purpose of ensuring that they are able to control whatever comes out as the decision. And therefore, you get to see that often there are more disadvantages than there are advantages now. Of course, when we remember, when we have read the history, that most of the people that adopted cryptocurrencies in the beginning were organized criminals that wanted to move money in huge amounts, but doing so without being detected, without being tracked, which is why you will not be surprised to find that there is a huge amount of cryptocurrency around the drug producing countries Latin America, for example. Okay? And so I think countries have tried to counteract this by converting their own currencies into digital currencies like Geoffrey was proposing. But I think there are quite a number of things to worry about than to be happy about. But of course, technology changes. And you get to see that there is an increase in the popularity of these cryptos because of the secrecy. And I'm sure in countries like Russia, many oligarchs would want to, invest in crypto and move money through crypto because then they will not be detected. I am sure even here, many of the people who are, in this country, you cannot hold 100 billion if the system, the regime, you're not on the good side of the regime. But if you have through crypto, you can actually, hide it, and nobody shall ever know. So we are in a situation where cryptocurrency has come. It's here to stay. It is growing in popularity. It's not clear how government is going to regulate it. The people that are making the laws are not educated about it. We really have a challenge on our hands.
Let me chip in, Henry, quickly on the issue of anonymity. Technically, it was structured that there's a lot of anonymity around cryptocurrencies. However, the high wall of anonymity is going down, and this is how it's going down. Most of the transactions that happen in the crypto world go through the crypto exchanges because it's a safer place to transact. However, the crypto exchanges have started some form of self-regulation. Some of it is self-regulation, and some of it is from in the countries where they operate. The self-regulation they are undertaking is similar to what the banks are doing. They have implemented KYC policies. You can know your customer policies. For example, you cannot open a crypto wallet or the equivalent of a crypto account without providing information about yourself. And this information has to be verified. All the top crypto exchanges require the basic KYC, the same as opening a bank account. They require you to provide proof of identity, such as a passport or national ID or anything that close. So you will find that they have information about you. Two, there has been self-regulation around anti-terrorism, and they have also created some kind of a red flag system around certain types of transactions. These red flag systems are not really directly being pushed by humans, but they are creating, they call them smart contracts. Sort of smart contracts are automatic programs that work around principles. Let's say in their KYC system, Mr. Henry is on the red flag list. They will put a profile on your account that says if Mr. Henry transacts Bitcoin worth $1 million, it should be blocked. And it's beginning to happen. In Nigeria, a lot of players in the crypto space were crying last year because Binance was targeting them for this reason or the other. And many of their accounts, crypto wallets were frozen. Of course, there's ways around that. The big players who can afford to hire experts to manage for them their finances have so many other options because typically holding a crypto account or what is called a wallet comes in many formats. The typical one is what they call a hot wallet, where it's hosted on a crypto exchange. They provide a platform where you are able to log in and you can monitor your account, you can transact. And then there's a cold wallet, which is, again, they're providers, but it can be offline. It means you can have your account simply sitting on a flash disk. It means you have your crypto funds seated on your flash disk. No one can access them until you choose to send them. And then, of course, there are third-party platforms that give you a secure way of sending your crypto funds. So, but usually the average person transacting on these crypto platforms has to use the traditional platforms like Binance or the exchanges that tend to have all these safety measures in place. They also offer so many advantages because every time you hold crypto, you at some point want to do something with it. Most people are holding crypto funds as an asset class. So as an asset class, often you want to trade it for another asset that may have more value. You want to, it's basically they are making money off these assets. Not necessarily transacting to purchase anything particular, but they are holding them for purposes of growing those funds. So when you use the non-traditional platforms, it's hard to take advantage of all those opportunities in crypto. And these opportunities only exist in such platforms. And those platforms are they are taking that wall of anonymity down by implementing strong KYC measures and by also implementing additional layers of policies around these things that reduce anonymity.
Okay, thank you. You're still watching Acfim Talks. We're having a very interesting conversation around cryptocurrency and political financing in Uganda. Our time is fast spent. Allows me only to have one or two questions, but you can send in your questions and we'll be able to attend to them. And also you can, any comment you have around the subject. Let me, I was reading a report again by Baker McKenzie. I think also Ghana, Ghana they have communal land. I think Ghana, even Kenya, they are using cryptocurrency to mirror land title transactions. So in this case, you can actually, the stock of your cryptocurrency can then be used for, you can use it to go and access, you can ask security to access loans, which was a challenge with most people in Ghana who never had land titles to transact. So I can see, looks like countries are really trying to tap into the benefits cryptocurrency presents. But Henry, in view of what seems to be now a currency that has come to Uganda and seems to be gaining traction, what then does that make the future of political financing amid this growing popularity of crypto financing?
I think if I was the lawmaker in Uganda, I would quickly move to revise and amend most of the laws we have. I would listen to the voices that are calling for enactment of a campaign finance law, because, like Geoffrey said, the wall of anonymity may be coming down, but remember, already we have more than 1,000 cryptocurrencies. There are some that are purely defiant and are saying that the underlying principle of crypto is anonymity. We maintain that. So are you going to regulate all 1,000? And as we speak, many more may be forming. You see. So I think the time has come for us to have a legislation in Uganda that will only allow crypto that allows a degree of transparency. Those that advance, propagate the angle of anonymity should not be allowed to be in the country. There's also an issue of reporting, because both political parties and candidates must be able to report. We do not have any legal provisions that require candidates or political parties to report on cryptocurrency donations, which again takes us back. You spoke about the future of this car. We takes us back to what is it that we don't have? Where are we most vulnerable? I have been reading that Japan is one of the few countries that have adopted a national system to regulate cryptocurrencies. Can we study it? How does it look like? I know that the other countries that do not want to be, to get into the whole, confusion of crypto have just banned them. Uganda hasn't. As a matter of fact, Uganda, we do not have a law that allows cryptocurrency to operate. Neither do we have a law that stops them. So there is a lacuna. What does the law say? There is not even one letter in the law books of Uganda that reads cryptocurrency or digital currency. I think we need to move very quickly and tighten up the loose ends, because with the kind of syndicated corruption in place, with the number of interests that would like to finance our politics from abroad, plus also the people that don't wish Uganda well and would want to destabilize it, we are not in the best position if we don't have regulations and institutions that are not because we don't not only need the laws, but we also need institutions to be capacitated. The individuals that are manning those institutions should be well trained. They should not be chasing shadows, because when you chase shadows, you come after the crypto has passed, you come after havoc has been wreaked. So I think these are some of the things we need to think about for the future. But as it is now, our future is really a concern. We are now struggling with inflation. We are talking about imported inflation. Are we sure that crypto cannot be one avenue of importing inflation? Forget the Ukraine-Russia thing. Maybe crypto, because if you have too much money coming to the country from across the borders, it will increase the volume of currency and circulation, depending on how many people would want to translate crypto into local currency. What is that going to make? What impact is that going to have on the inflation situation? So these are some of the things we need to look at, but without a regulatory framework, without men and women that have been trained and capacitated to understand the dynamics of cryptocurrencies, our future is bleak. Back to you, Felix.
Thank you so much. Of course, the question of regulation seems to be coming out prominently across the globe, especially concerning cryptocurrency. But Geoffrey, in a minute or two, as we bring this to a close, because you're having the final say, what does this cryptocurrency growth mean to the banking industry in Uganda as we bring this to a close? In a conclusion.
Thank you, Felix. So as we conclude, the general position has been lying from two perspectives. One is to disassociate, and also in the context of banning, or two, to adopt. But then the question has been, adopt how? For many countries, it has been agreed that it makes more sense to adopt, because the crypto world is unstoppable. And if you can't play along, it will play around you. So in adoption, the strategies have taken a path of fighting the issues like what Henry has raised, the issue, for example, of inflation. To protect the citizens from inflation, they are taking a position of creating what they call a new class of crypto currencies, and that class is called stable coins. Because typical cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are not pegged against any form of value. They are pegged on the value is driven by the users and how much they believe in it, and how much they are willing to do with whatever they want to do with it. But there's a school of thought that cryptocurrencies need to be pegged against something, and the position now is to peg the cryptocurrencies against national currencies. So that creates what they call the stable coins, and many have already been created in the US. There's already the US dollar stable coins. There are several of them already, and many countries are thinking in that direction. So in our context, we would need to create some kind of homegrown cryptocurrency that is pegged against the Uganda shillings, so that people can be protected from this run of commonly associated with cryptocurrencies that most people really don't understand how it comes about. So the future is really in that direction. So if there is a cryptocurrency that is a stable coin and is pegged against the UGX, or Uganda shillings, it should be sort of supported and recognized. So because that's a safer way, other than trying to directly control. Just link it to the Uganda shilling, and whatever happens to the Uganda shilling is the same thing that will happen. But you still give people an opportunity to play in the crypto world, and because creating a cryptocurrency is very easy, anyone can create it. But it is getting it to play in the wider landscape of the crypto space that is harder. So you need to do all these other things. If you give it support, that gives it an opportunity to play well and grow and gain a footing. If you don't give it the support, then it sort of dies. So the direction of the future of that space is around that adoption, and then play in a way that is linked to your own currency, because that's much safer.
There you go.
Thank you.
And that brings us to a close. Thank you so much. That was Geoffrey Okongo, who is a digital expert. And also with me, I had Henry Muguzu, who is a political finance expert. We were discussing cryptocurrency and the political finance in Uganda. Till next time, next week, same place. Bye-bye. Stay safe. I remain Felix Kafuma, your host. God bless.